This is your Timeless the Devil series reading, where the devil is your ego that doesn't know if it's of light or of darkness, so it wants to play a game. Please bear in mind that past, present, and future energetical timelines could come forth of vibrancy within a reading, so use your discernment to take all of that which belongs to you and to leave the rest behind. Feminine and masculine energies may show up. Both are non-gender specific, so please be mindful of that for the continuum of the reading. The Sailor, New Influences, Wanderlust. It's all about relationships in this reading. It's all about the connection of interconnectedness with yourself and another individual immediately. Meaning, the singular factoring of individualism is not to be found because it's included in interconnectedness with someone, a minimum of another person in your life, minimum. The forgotten, missed opportunities, fear of failure. So, the majority of the problem is that there are too many narratives. Too many narratives to influence what wanderlust could be, instead of generating a connection with self and letting that be the curator and the purveyor of what it is that you seek. Whether it is in actual seeing or remembering or experiencing, there's a problem with there being too many narratives. With being too many narratives, the world of thinking became too complex, and that complexity has made it impossible for almost the average Joe Schmo to find out who they are within all the chaos. There are some people who do not even have voices generating within their minds. So imagine how secluded an identifying factoring of self could be when you don't even have fantasyism in your mind creating some sort of conversation to be had. A natural, I would say, curiosity that would happen if someone hears anything. And if they were looking for someone in the room as a witness to what they were hearing, they may then actually find out the person has no idea what's going on because they're realizing their thoughts are coming from within. Finding out who they are makes this individual feel like a missed opportunity, and also makes this individual feel like the forgotten one, which is perpetuating off of the narrative of the fear of failure. With too many narratives around, there is a marketing scheme in order for the narrative to be understood. With any good marketing scheme is to trigger that of which it is you know, and promote something that will allow you to feel security in that of which it is you were triggered by. In doing so, over time, with the right ad, with the right marketing, with the right influence, with the right data research, the narrative which we uphold our everyday lifestyles has gotten enough information about what the average Joe Schmo might be thinking, could be thinking, should be thinking, will be thinking, and permeating a propaganda that will influence a freedom of having free will and keeping you at arm's length, keeping you minimalistic and making sure that you are a slave to the system. And in doing so, perpetuating the idea that you are also the maybe potential influencer and role model for other people, a hierarchy scheme, a pyramid scheme, and then you're fulfilling a wanderlust. So what became into a form of social contracting, signing a social contract or signing a contract at all in a narrative in the past century or so, is now being warped in just finding a consent in the way you're thinking. Imagine that. Consenting into the way that you're thinking without ever asking you for permission. Hence why it's very important for you to ascertain the idea that war has already happened since 2020. And the war is on consciousness because of all the thousands of narratives trying to understand and maybe also potentially try to bring order to chaos. It is a bunch of souls running around that fear being influenced, fear of failure, fearing the narrative is going to kill some and rescue others, is lost souls in a way, perpetuating an idea that they have found out who they are, but they don't really know who they are. A higher vibration has a better understanding of what they could be. But in order for them to be heard, right now the lost souls are feeling forgotten. So the devil is playing a game with these forgotten souls, because the devil is the ego that doesn't allow you to remember whether it's of light or of darkness, because it's asking you, the individual, bestowing the engine of both catapulting energies, or both of those energies within yourself, and we call that choices. It is an oversimplified version back to the narrative of the beginning. The beginning is what makes everything now ring true. So we must respect the basic formula. And that's what the devil energy does to ego. It forces the ego to act and behave in justice to it, in the way that the devil sees fit to be entertained, and to feel also an interconnectedness to all that there is. An imbalanced understanding about ego is an imbalanced pursuit towards your destined path. The deliverer of the message is you. The ongoing message is you as well. The permeancy to everything is still you. Finding a solution to all that's resonating through you will still be done with you. To understand the power of you is to understand all facets of yourself. And if there's energies wanting to force themselves into your own identity, you have to be the king of your own emotions and forbid them to entertain you with things that you are not ready to handle. Because the moment that you are then saying you are ready to handle them, you are the king to the throne of everything that you know, and you make rational decisions. Those rational decisions come from understanding of all the things that you are, all the things that resonate through you. And let the narrative be subjectively oversimplified, But what it is that your purpose is will be louder than the words I will make or use to trigger that feeling within you. There are no words, no rhyme or song that can fulfill the destiny of all that it is that you are. So looking for the right words to become, looking for the right words to give permission to be, is holding other people accountable for something that you haven't accomplished. And this all plays into the narrative as why this is not just a singular pursuit, because what it is and how it is you want to function is in the interconnectedness that you share with that other person that the reading began with. The king is a king because he understands he has a queen. Whether she is on the table or not, whether she is in the room or not, he cannot function without that backbone of security. And whatever he or she offers is an interconnectedness that speaks louder on the rhythm and song and dance than any transaction of what is being asked to protect the kingdom, to protect community, to protect money, to protect culture, tradition, justice, law, and order, to rule a kingdom. There are things that are within an interconnectedness understanding between two individuals. You can start understanding that there is a bigger dialogue within all of existence. And to understand that on a minuscule form is to then branch it outer to the other forms of relationships that you have, and then draw the comparison of which one has a better pursuit than other, has a longevity of how much time you can be in that person's presence or not before it's energetically impossible for you to feel that you are comfortable enough to share in the room with them or share the same space of vicinity with them. Those are all conscientious choices one must make when they understand adaptability of choices needs to happen for emotional maturity. The Chariot. So, you are the one that is experienced. Even the ancestors running their mouths in your existence, the tarot cards that rule your world or give you an understanding or a sense of balance, the chaotic people that offer their version of entertainment in your life so you actually, feel fulfilled in one way or another. That's all the work that you do. That's all the things that you step up to believe in, show up to work for, and, you protect. You get into this very feral position of needing to protect everything that is yours, and that is exactly what the devil loves, because the devil is a masculine energy. It's a masculine energy that will protect, that will forgo, that will obliterate, it will backstab, it will punish, it will discipline, it will time manage, it will organize to the T. It will make everything look so functional that no one can really see anything wrong with the functionality because it's just that perfect in the unanimous way that the operating system of darkness can also function. And since there's a lot more ruling in people being triggered in their fear of failure and missed opportunities, that gives the devil energy of a vortex more permission to excel in becoming a master of itself, because you're giving it all the energy to play with, and it loves all the array of color that you're bringing into a void of darkness, because you're blind to see that darkness is used to create all these colors, and vice versa. So there is an organization that if you look closer and closer and closer to darkness, the more spread out it becomes and light starts existing, because you see that the veil of pigmentation is shedding away. That's what consciousness is meant to do, through the understanding of what emotions bring and offer to not only tarot, if you're dabbling in it, or understanding why certain niches of most tarot readers right now are in a loophole bigger than you can even imagine, but you won't know until another 5-10 years when you realize that it's not really true. It's true because it has a longevity of your interests of doing or non-doing, and inevitability, perhaps we could say to that, all right? Because it's a world bigger than your world that you don't realize until you maybe sit down one day and you really focus on all the bullshit that you call bullshit, that people have called upon you that is bullshit, and really handle that existential crisis as a means of, well, then take me out now, right here where I stand, ether. If you say I have no place here because apparently I'm this ugly, really feeding this devil energy, and then let me ask you, who the fuck responds? It is your light that responds. It is an essence outside of you that responds outside of that chaos. Should you choose to ride that roller coaster, ladies and gentlemen, and decide to get there. For the majority of you, very lucky. 2020 was 2020 hindsight vision, meaning a lot of shit already happened up to 2019. And all that's needed is for you to have that fucking epiphany through your emotional bullshit and understand, oh, that's the light that's trying to return back to me. Thank you, universe. And then live out your life however the fuck you want to. It is that simple. It is that simple. The search for that simplicity, you're making complex. The search for that complex, that simplicity, you are making complex. You must align yourself to your emotions. You must align yourself. So how can I describe this? Imagine you just slumped down somewhere because you just needed to sit down. And a thought comes. You find in your body where that thought also pulsates. So let's say a thought of failure. And in hearing that, you feel a pressure in the back of your lungs. And so you go to your back of your lungs and your thoughts, and you see if you can listen out to anything. And then if thought comes, says, lean to the left, you might lean to the left a little bit. And if a thought comes, says, wash your hands, you might get up to wash your hands. So, and then you might get up to wash your hands, and then your knee hurts. You focus on your attention on your knee, and then you try to swim in the consciousness of your knee. Find that loud word. Focus on the task. Go wash your hands. And that is a repetitive cycle that you could follow yourself with body contact, body pulsation, meaning thought to body contact. All right? Like, yeah. It's the best way I can describe that right now. Your mind is too messy. trying to make sense of reason won't offer you the assistance of reaching the basic formula. Four of Cups. Focused meditation is not a narrative. It's not, you must sit down and listen to this in order to reach this and have this amount of breaths and do all that. No, that is not true. There are very simple computes to this making, which is you need element of air, water, fire, and earth to function. Within those four elements, you have the inertia to understand your 369 eternal energy. Vibrating through that is not vibrating through a linear equation. The more linear you try to make that equation, the more you get into the eternal, well, not the eternal, well, the flower of life, the daisy of doom. The more linear approach you're trying to have, an understanding of how to function in life, the more you're making yourself stick to a narrative that's not true, and stick to a narrative of a formula that offers up disease, because it doesn't function that way. Going with the flow of the wavelengths of 369 and the magic of those numbers is to understand it's an ongoing wave, it's an ongoing flow. It flows left and it flows right. It flows forward and flows backwards, just like the swinging pendulum. Just like the swinging pendulum, Queen of Wands, all right, where you are the atom in the existence of time and space. Lucky for you, you have intelligence to you, that you can pretty much decide where you want to take your own form of divinity. Classic Queen of Wands spark, all right, that invigorating euphoria, and call upon your own judgment. And knowing that in that judgment, you are living as the living breathing of what judgment energy is. A justification for all that there is. So 1 and 9, for all that there is. 19 is the most powerful number of all numbers because of the 1 and the 9 being together, unifying the all aspects of things. And you are the all aspect of things. 8 of Wands here again. Understanding the 8 of Wands is to understand the ache of wanting. Okay? The ache of desire, the ache of need, the ache of, and it has the Chariot card underneath here, right? So the ache and desire to be so good, to be so immortal, and to have a mortal life, and to define ethics and define emotional intelligence, and to define ego, is the other side of why the devil is a fallen angel, for those of you who understand that narrative, or and how in a show like Lucifer becomes God, because to understand all facets of darkness is to have an amazing sense of know-how with everything that functions through light. Imagine that. The Sleeper, cause and effect and clarity. I mean, listen, if you work with me, you know that I want to capture your consent to allowing yourself to connect to 𝗖𝘀𝗵𝗺 right before you go to sleep, because it allows you to look and be in search of something. while also anticipating structure, which is ending your day and beginning a night, and wanting to bring a beautification to the art of what sleep is supposed to mean at any point of a day. And that is where we can understand so many pockets of our mind and travel them. We can travel our third eye and experience and literally experience our Akashic records instead of just feeling it. And once you make that connection and realize you are literally the cause and effect, the clarity that you get is just insane, right? And if you watched a show that was on for only one season, The Event, the sentient beings were called Sleeper. Dun, dun, dun. It's a hint, by the way, you should go see it. The Event. And then you're going to be wondering, has the event actually happened? By the way, the devil is the one that's in charge of making your cards more valuable than they need to be. The devil loves materialism. So if you protect your cards too much, it's too high of an ego. Just saying. To walk amongst people is to be humble. And to be humble is to literally live in a frequency of zero, which is nothing. Ready to entertain all and everything, because all and everything is there and readily available for your time and attention and audience making. And zero in the reflection of knowing that nothing can permanently hurt you if you really realize all your own problems. It is fascinating to live in that energy. And people think it's hell. Only because in that version of silence, you're left with your highest form of anxieties, and only you can get them out of your consciousness and into your own eternal divinity. Hell is right here, right when your feet lands on that ground, on that floor, on that carpet, on that parquet floor, on the mahogany, I don't know, what do you have? On the tiles, on grass, all right? And the chiromancer, the person that reads the hands, reads the stars, delivering news and collaboration is going to be done all over again. I mean, how beautiful for the devil to let you know that. I fucking love this. I love this, all right? The chiromancer that is paying attention to the material aspect of how to reach that channeling has also received the wrong message in how to deliver the news and how to deliver collaboration, because you're making it seem that these cards are sacred. These cards are not living and breathing. There's nothing sacred about these cards. There is nothing sacred about these cards. What you feel resonating within you has nothing to do with the cards. It has nothing to do with the devil. Because remember, the devil is the ego that doesn't know if it's of light or of darkness, so wants to play a game. Hence why it's so fun. Hence why this is entertaining. Hence why this is comedic for those who understand that type of intellectual, emotional development, or even on the precipice to want to achieve it, or to have it, or to even integrate it. Whatever. Do you. The devil is known to deliver the news, and the rest is up for you to take on the entertaining factor. The rest is yours to be entertained with and literally claim as your own addiction. Commit to desire. Reflection is not for the faint. Tarot has rules. All right, ladies and gentlemen, all those in between and beyond, I ask that you consider subscribing to both of my channels if you haven't done so already, checking out the description box below for anything that you may need, and I'm wishing you a wonderful morning, noon, or night wherever you are in the ether of this time and space. May you keep flowing, growing, and glowing. Take care.